So my name's Nate Carlson. I'm an MBA class of 2018, and I'm in Professor Christensen and Professor Shee's BSSC class. And we were talking the other day about Toys R Us shutting down and their bankruptcy, or impending bankruptcy maybe. I think it's a really interesting case because it's not necessarily what the theory would lead you to expect might happen. The first part of the story makes sense. I think Professor Christensen has written a lot about the dangers of shareholder capitalism and how that encourages managers to focus on the short term and neglect the long-term investments that produce innovation that sustain companies. You become overly focused on financial metrics and overly focused on sort of maintaining good quarterly earnings numbers. That sort of incentivizes managers to neglect longer-term initiatives. And so from that perspective, it makes sense to see sort of the collapse of a large brick-and-mortar retailer like Toys R Us at the hands of a disruptive innovator like Amazon. But the traditional fix here didn't seem to work. Normally you would take a company like that private, bring it into the emergency room of PE, and then make some changes to the operations, but you would also inject capital into the company to kind of restart the R&D or restart to make the big investments that may not be palatable to shareholders, but are necessary to get the company back on track for a new type of market that it might be competing in. In this case, that didn't work, and I think it was because the company, being as large as it was so highly leveraged by the PE firm that took it on that it was really all they could do to service the debt, and they didn't really have any capital left to make the changes that were needed. And so that's not really what you would have expected to happen, but kind of an interesting outcome.
Did you go to Toys R Us when you were a kid?
I did, yeah. Man, it's been 25 years, I think. That probably tells you all you need to know. But thinking now as a parent of a 2-year-old, Toys R Us does a terrible job of meeting the job that parents need it to do. I can only imagine walking through those aisles with my son. You'd have a blast, but it would be a nightmare for me. It's so much easier to just Google top 5 age-appropriate toys and then go on Amazon and buy one for his age group. So.